With the Omnitrix on his wrist, Ben Tennyson is able to transform into any one of countless different alien species, using their unique powers and abilities to stop evildoers. With over 5 different shows and 70 different aliens, there are a whole lot of options for Ben to pick through. And so today, we're going to help him with that choice and rank each and every alien from weakest to strongest, from least to most powerful. So let's get into it. What's up guys, this is DanCo. I do fight breakdowns, power ranking videos, or more deep dives into your favorite characters and franchises, with new videos every week. So if that seems great to you, well, sit back and enjoy the video. Hit that like button if you want to, or hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Walkatrout is probably Ben's worst alien. Even worse than another alien literally called the Worst. Walkatrout has a slippery body, so I guess he can easily slip around and is hard to grab, but other than that, he doesn't have much going for him at all. He's small, he's weak, he's slow. Literally the only plus is that he's slippery. The Worst is essentially indestructible. He's able to withstand pretty much any attack that comes his way due to his soft, blob-like little body. However, even though he's indestructible, the Worst still feels pain. On top of that, he really doesn't have any other powers or anything that could actually come in handy in a fight, meaning that the Worst is basically just a punching bag for enemies. Chameleon's main ability is his camouflage. He's capable of completely blending in with his surroundings to the point where he appears invisible. However, even though Chameleon might appear to turn invisible, he's really just changing his color to match the background, meaning you can still see him by his shadow, and he can be easily seen and tracked by anyone with enhanced senses. Spitter is a bulbous little alien that basically resembles a pufferfish standing on 2 legs. The alien can inflate into a ball and from there spit out a powerful blast of very slippery slime. Jury-Rig is a small little gremlin alien with a strong desire to break apart and remake machines. And Jury-Rig is also definitely smart enough to do that. He can completely disassemble any kind of machinery in just seconds, then also construct complex machinery from scratch just as fast. Ditto has the ability to clone himself without limits through binary fission, and he can duplicate himself instantly as well. From there, each Ditto operates independently, and so they can do multiple tasks simultaneously. Now, for a while, all the Dittos shared a link in order to keep track of each other, meaning that if one Ditto was hurt, all the others would feel the same pain, and if one Ditto got killed, well, all the others were automatically killed as well. However, that no longer seems to be the case, and now they're independent of each other's pain. Molestache is basically a rodent with a mustache, with that mustache being free-forming and about as maneuverable as any limb, able to stretch and form itself into a whole bunch of different shapes. While doing so, he can wrap enemies up, form hands, fight against people, carry things around. He can even use it to form parachutes or propellers. Ball Weevil is a small insect that can spit out stick balls of plasma that can absorb matter, then explode upon impact. Plus, the bigger the ball he creates, the larger the explosion. The only downside is that Ball Weevil can actually be hurt by his own plasma balls, and even get stuck in the plasma. Not the best look. Wild Mutt is basically an alien dog, but because it's got no eyes, its main ability is his sense of smell. His vision is basically a 3D mapping of his surroundings. When you combine that with his enhanced hearing, well, his senses basically function as some kind of radar. Then of course, like an alien dog, he's super strong and fast, and can attack enemies with his sharp teeth and claws. Ripjaws is basically a mermaid, except a lot less aerial and a lot more terrifying mixture of an alligator and a shark and an eel. Ripjaw's large jaws and sharp teeth are his most deadly weapon, being able to shred even metal from submarines. He can also breathe underwater, swim at incredibly high speeds, but his greatest weakness has got to be the fact that he can't stay on land for too long without dehydrating. Bullfrog is basically if you took a frog and gave it the physique and chiseled jawline of a superhero. Like a normal frog, Bullfrog is a powerful jumper and is very agile, as well as possessing a long, sticky tongue, which he can use as either a grappling line or to hit enemies. Bullfrog is also an impressively skilled fighter, able to hold his own against swarms of enemies. Nanomech is not very big, only about a centimeter tall, and is a mixture of human DNA with a nanochip. Nanomech can launch out bioelectrical energy at enemies. He can fly and adapt to his opponents very fast, and can shrink down to even smaller, microscopic sizes. Crashhopper is a mixture between a grasshopper and a praying mantis, and always loves a good fight. He'll jump headfirst into a fight without even thinking. And jumping is what he loves to do. Crashhopper can jump extremely long distances and even create shockwaves with the force of his jumps. His powerful legs also come in real handy during a fight. He can kick with a considerable amount of force. Kickin' Hawk is just what if you made a bird a superhero. He's got superhuman strength, durability, agility, and reflexes. He's also seen as Ben's best close-range fighter. I would say hand-to-hand fighter, but for Kickin' Hawk it's really more foot-to-head fighter, as he fights almost exclusively with his legs. Spider Monkey is basically exactly what his name sounds like, a monkey with all the powers of a spider. Basically, if Spider-Man was just a blue four-armed monkey, meaning he can shoot out powerful webbing, he's a highly skilled fighter, and he's incredibly fast and agile. Being a sentient plant, Wildvine can grow and alter his body at will, meaning that he can grow and extend his arms and legs into vines and tentacles to fight enemies. He can grow sharp thorns all over his vines in his body. He can regenerate any part of his body if it gets damaged, and can grow black pods on his back, which he can use as explosives or smoke bombs. Much like Accelerate, Fast Track has enhanced speed, agility, and reflexes. He's incredibly fast, and while he still might be considerably slower than Accelerate, Fast Track makes up for it by being the stronger one out of the two. Stingfly is a small insect with the ability to squirt slime from around his eyes and his mouth, which can primarily be used to immobilize enemies. He can fly around with his wings, and Stingfly is even able to tear through metal with his strong tail and stinger. Astrodactyl is basically what you get when you cross a pterodactyl with a glider, and he's capable of flying around with the aid of his jetpack. This jetpack is actually powered by some kind of internalized star power, which Astrodactyl can also use to create energy weapons, but he's also extremely reliant on his jetpack, which means that if you can beat the jetpack, then you can basically beat him. Gray Matter is easily Ben's smartest alien, able to create complicated machines from spare parts, understand the function of any device with just a glance, and make sophisticated repairs to complex machines. He also comes in handy as a problem solver, and allows Ben to think more strategically when brute force doesn't seem to work. Blocks is basically living Legos, and this gives him incredible shape-shifting powers, able to transform at will and build basically anything out of his own body. He can form more blocks from his body at will, grow in size, change himself, and if Blocks' body is ever damaged or broken, well, he can easily reform the broken pieces. Terraspin has the unique ability to basically control the wind. He can create devastating wind blasts and tornadoes, and eject powerful winds from his shell, And same in reverse too. He can also create strong vacuums or even use his wind power to fly around. Blitzwolfer is essentially a werewolf, meaning that he's incredibly strong, fast, tough, and can attack with his razor-sharp teeth and claws. On top of that, whenever Blitzwolfer opens his mouth, he can emit a powerful ultrasonic howl, which he can use to hurt opponents, block attacks, or even launch himself up into the air. Buzzshock is a living battery, able to generate and manipulate electricity, absorb electricity from technology, and he can even instantly pass through any electrical source at will. He can control anything powered by electricity. He can cause technology to malfunction. Buzzshock even has the power to duplicate himself. While most reptiles are cold-blooded, Arctiguana takes this to a whole other level. Similar to Big Chill, Arctiguana is capable of breathing ice from his mouth, which he can use to freeze basically anything in his path. Snarrow is an alien mummy, and since his body is basically made up entirely of bandages, he can reshape and control his body at will. He can extend his bandages in order to restrain opponents. He can regenerate and reform himself after basically any attack, and since his body is completely hollow, Snarrow can even split himself apart or dodge attacks and then reform and counterattack. Water Hazard is one of the most powerful water manipulators in the universe, able to launch out blasts of pressurized water through the portholes in his hands. He can also absorb water through these same portholes and even change the temperature of his water powers from hot to cold. He's surprisingly strong, but thanks to his armored exoskeleton, Water Hazard is almost completely invulnerable to most attacks. Vampire is just what you think he'd be, an alien vampire, which means that he's got some enhanced super strength, he's superhumanly durable, he can transform into a bat, and he can fly around. A vampire is also able to control undead aliens, or absorb and feed off the energy of living beings, or even hypnotically control other beings just by looking at them. Eye Guy's entire body is covered with eyes, except, ironically, his face, where his eyes are supposed to be. But of all these eyes, well, Eye Guy has nearly 360-degree vision, making it incredibly hard to sneak up on him. He can also fire out beams of green energy from any one of his eyes, and each eye beam does something different. Fire out ice, electricity, sticky goop, fire, basically anything. Upchuck is just a living trash can. He can open up his mouth, stretch out his tongue, and eat basically anything that gets in his way. And I really mean anything. He can even chow down on pure energy. Then from all this stuff that Upchuck has eaten, well, he's able to convert it into explosive balls of liquid that he can throw around at enemies. Brainstorm is Ben's second smartest alien, right behind Gray Matter, with an IQ of 10 to the 30th power, or 1 nonillion. With his super intelligence, he can solve very difficult calculations in seconds, and can even visualize equations and movement of objects as if they're actually there. Brainstorm can also produce and manipulate electricity by thinking hard enough, then using that electricity to fight enemies. Edel is basically just another version of Upchuck, just slightly more powerful. He can eat just about anything, and then from there convert all that into energy that he can shoot out of his horn. As you might expect from a giant alien tiger, Wrath is extremely strong and very powerful, and he only gets more and more stronger the angrier he gets. When you combine the two, Wrath's incredible strength and unbridled aggression, he's nearly impossible to put down in a fight. Here we've got the first ultimate form on the list, Ultimate Wild Mutt. This version of Wild Mutt is similar to his devolved form in a lot of ways, except for the fact that he is significantly larger and stronger. He's also got a scorpion-like tail that he can flick around and use in combat. Upgrade is what's known as a mechamorph, meaning that his body is composed entirely of nanites, and because of that, he can instantly reshape and manipulate his body at will, oftentimes merging with and possessing any technology that he comes in contact with. Once Upgrade merges with a piece of technology, he has complete and total control over it, and can transform and manipulate the tech without limit. Accelerate is easily one of Ben's fastest aliens, as with the ability to manipulate his friction, where he can easily reach speeds over 500 miles per hour. He can accelerate so quickly that time appears to completely stop around him, and he can even run up walls and move across water. Forearms is one of Ben's original aliens, with his primary ability being his incredible superhuman strength, meaning he's perfect for whenever Ben has to fight larger or more powerful foes. Plus, the older Forearms grows, the stronger he becomes, meaning that this alien is only gonna get more and more powerful as Ben gets older. While Spider Monkey started out as just a cute little monkey with spider powers, Ultimate Spider Monkey is a massive gorilla with a powerful set of spider legs. He's much stronger and more powerful than his devolved form, and while Spider Monkey might be able to shoot out webs, Ultimate Spider Monkey can shoot out much, much more. Echo Echo can scream at frequencies reaching ultrasonic, meaning that his scream is so powerful that he can overload machines or shatter steel. He also has the ability to create an unlimited number of clones of himself, which all have the same powers and can act in perfect unison. Echo Echo can also use all his clones to create an echo chamber, where his clones attack from all directions and keep on screaming until his enemy is knocked out and defeated. Amphibian is essentially an alien jellyfish, one that can produce and manipulate electricity to fight enemies. He can stun or even kill his opponents, absorb electrical energy and launch it out through his tentacles, and on top of that, Amphibian can both become pure energy or simply make himself intangible. A lot like Wildvine, Swampfire can telepathically interact with plant life and control their growth. He can also completely control his own body and expand or grow it at will, which also allows him to regenerate or regrow any damaged limbs or parts to his body. Then, true to his name, Swampfire's body produces a large amount of highly flammable gas, which he can ignite in the palm of his hands and basically become a flamethrower. Diamond Head's body is made up entirely of extremely strong crystal, which Diamond Head has the ability to completely control and manipulate. He can turn his arms into any kind of weapon, fire out crystals from the palm of his hand, create shields, and basically create anything that he wants. And plus, since his body is made up of pretty much diamonds, Diamond Head is ridiculously strong and nearly indestructible. A lot like an armadillo, Cannonbolt can curl up into a ball and from there, rev up like a giant wheel and then slam into people and completely run over enemies. Cannonbolt's shell is also nearly indestructible. He can survive basically any attack that comes his way when he's curled up into a ball. Goop is a 200-pound single-celled organism, meaning that he's basically just a giant pile of goo that can stretch and bend and take any shape that he wants at will. He can use this slime during a fight, shooting it at enemies, or even managing to turn himself acidic and dissolving pretty much anything in his path. Jet Ray is without a doubt Ben's fastest flyer. He can fly several times faster than the speed of sound, and his maneuverability through the air is unmatched by anything on Earth. He also has the ability to fire out green neuroshock blast from his eyes and tails, which function on two levels. One, they can just blow stuff up and hurt you, But 2, they can also shut down a being's nervous system with just one hit. Lodestar is basically just like Magneto. He's got the ability to control magnetism and magnetic fields. He can shoot out blasts of magnetic energy, telekinetically control metal, and if something ever happens to him or he gets injured, well, he can just repair himself and pull himself back together with magnetism. Frankenstrike is, I guess, what you would expect from an alien Frankenstein. So he's very big, very strong, and very tough. With the 2 massive conductor coils on his back, well, he can generate electricity throughout his whole body and fire up bolts of powerful lightning. Big Chill has the powers of pyrokinesis, meaning that he can manipulate ice, which his body naturally produces, and use it to knock enemies around, freeze them, or create constructs for during a fight. He can fly through the air, freeze objects just by touching them, and he can also become intangible, meaning that he can freeze things just by passing straight through them. Shock Squash is just a big, giant electrical yeti. He can charge himself up with static electricity, and when he's sufficiently charged, he can fire out bolts of powerful electric blast at his enemies. Chromastone has the unique ability of allowing many different types of energy to collect within his body, which he can convert into rainbow-colored beams of energy and fire them out from his body. It's also all completely relative to how powerful the energy blast he absorbed was. The more energy that Chromastone can absorb, well, the more powerful his energy blasts are going to be. Ghost Freak can make himself completely intangible and invisible, which comes in handy both as a defense mechanism and allowing him to sneak around and not be seen. But not just that, Ghost Freak can also possess the bodies of his enemies, controlling their movements and basically going all poltergeist on them. Heat Blast is a pyrokinetic, meaning that he can generate and manipulate all that intense heat and fire that comes from his body. He can form fire into any shape that he chooses, shooting out fireballs, throwing fire punches, even breathing fire like a dragon. He can also absorb heat and fire instead of just creating it, and if he wants to, he can even make his fire explosive. Armadillo is maybe the world's best digger, thanks to his massive jackhammer arms that allow him to burrow through the ground. And by just putting his hands in the ground, well, Armadillo can create massive earthquakes, even up to magnitude 10 earthquakes. All this also comes in very handy in a fight, able to absolutely send enemies flying with each hit he lands. Ultimate Swamp Fire is the ultimate form of Swamp Fire, looking a lot more like a flaming tree instead of just a walking plant. He's got a greater amount of control over plant life than his primary form. He can shoot out much hotter and more powerful flames. This Swamp Fire can even grow fire bombs on his arms that he can pick off and throw around as lethal explosives. NRG is an alien constantly emitting radioactive energy, which means that he stays inside of a safe containment suit in order to avoid a Chernobyl-like event. But of course, there's a vent in the containment suit where NRG can fire out beams of highly radioactive energy. He can also technically leave the containment suit whenever he wants to, and outside of the suit, NRG becomes massively more powerful and is able to unleash much more destructive blast of energy. Humongosaur is easily one of Ben's strongest and most powerful aliens, able to casually lift up almost anything, overpower almost any opponent. He's even so strong that he can throw stuff into outer space. Humongosaur also has the unique ability to increase or decrease his body size via dimensional displacement. He can grow up to 60 feet tall at will, becoming immensely more powerful by doing so, and actually becoming a whole lot more dinosaur-like in the process. Ultimate Cannonbolt is a lot like his base form, except Ultimate Cannonbolt's shell is much thicker and is metallic, which greatly increases his power and his durability. He also grows spikes whenever he rolls up into his ball form, which makes Cannonbolt even that much more powerful and that much more unstoppable. Toepick is kinda unique on this list, as his only known way of defeating his enemies is just with his extremely scary face. But man, it is one scary face. Toepick can tap into the primordial fears locked away in every being's subconscious, and his face is so terrifying that pretty much nobody in the known universe can look at it without being scared to the point of turning pale white and being left helpless and possibly insane. Ultimate Big Chill is a lot like his less developed form, except instead of breathing just simply ice, he breathes ice flames. Fire so cold that it burns. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but sounds very, very cool. This ice is both stronger and colder than his other form, instantly turning the air around him into solid ice, and it can instantly turn any enemy into solid ice along with it. Pesky Dust might just look like a fairy, but it's actually one of the most feared aliens in the entire universe. See, Pesky Dust can release a special kind of dust that makes his victims fall asleep, and from there, well, he can enter into the dreams and control them, manipulating the dreams and turning them into nightmares. Plus, as long as Pesky Dust keeps on dousing the sleeping dust out there, his victims will be trapped in sleep for eternity. Gutrot's guts contain all sorts of different elements and chemicals, basically making him a walking chemical laboratory. He then has the ability to make all sorts of compounds and expel them as gas, ranging from sleeping gas to tear gas to acid to essentially anything he can think of. Of course, Gutrot has advanced knowledge of chemistry, and so he can always think of just the right concoction to put down his enemies. Ultimate Humongousaur is exponentially stronger than just normal Humongousaur, so he can easily overpower most opponents, even to the point where he can one-shot normal Humongousaurs. But the biggest thing has to be the fact that he can now transform his hands into guns that can shoot out bullets or missiles, causing serious damage to anyone who's unlucky enough to get hit. Ultimate Echo can release sonic waves from the sonic discs all over his body, with these sound waves being powerful enough to easily knock out even the most powerful of opponents. Probably most impressively though, he was even able to use his sonics to contain a nuclear fusion grenade, which was powerful enough to destroy continents. Waybig is easily Ben's biggest alien, and he's incredibly strong, even for his size. I mean, it's possible that Waybig is strong enough and powerful enough to destroy a small planet. He's so durable that he can barely feel most attacks. He's actually a skilled hand-to-hand fighter, and Waybig can even shoot out a powerful cosmic ray by crossing his arms together. Feedback might not look like much, but this guy is sneaky powerful. He has the ability to absorb and redirect energy attacks, but while it's usually just electricity, Feedback can actually redirect any type of energy and redirect an infinite amount of energy from a near point-blank range. He's so powerful that he can one-shot Ultimate Humongousaur and is able to contain an energy equivalent to the Big Bang and then fire it back out as an energy blast. Gravitack is literally a small living planet, meaning that he's got his own orbit and can manipulate and control gravity around him at will. He can suspend things in midair and telekinetically send them flying around. He can pull objects into his own orbit, or even take any object and completely rob it of its momentum. Gravitack is able to create black holes, and it's possible that he could even create a quasar if he can master the ability, basically a supermassive black hole. Just like his name suggests, Omnitrix is a walking nuclear reactor, meaning he can create and manipulate atomic or nuclear energy with just his bare hands, causing serious damage to everything around him. His nuclear blast can usually take out almost any enemy standing in his way, and he can even go further and generate orbs of nuclear energy, which could potentially scale up to the size of the sun with enough work and focus. With all this, Omnitrix has technically been called Ben's second most powerful alien, but I think there are two others that have slightly better feats. Ultimate Way Big is a lot like his devolved form, just that he's way stronger, way bigger, and can fire out an even more powerful cosmic ray whenever he crosses his arms. Way Big already scales to planet level in just his base form. With his ultimate form, well, he should scale up to potentially even star level. It's even been said that he could withstand a solar system level explosion. Clockwork possesses chronokinesis, meaning that he's complete control over time itself. So by firing out time rays, he can basically send people back in time, age an object to dust, send people to different timelines, or rewind their personal time. He can travel through time, slow down time all around him. Clockwork even reversed the Chronosapien time bomb, a bomb that destroyed infinite timelines within the multiverse. But without a doubt, Ben's most powerful alien has to be Alien X. It's not even a debate. Alien X is able to warp all reality, all time, and all space with ease. So in short, Alien X can do anything. He's an entity separate from the universe itself, which means that he's able to survive the destruction of the universe. He can create and recreate universes at will. He's got every power in the book. Even his very thoughts can become real. Like I said, Alien X can literally do anything and everything. He's easily Ben's most powerful alien, and really one of the most powerful beings in all of fiction. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.